Look at this view, the bridge and the Sydney Opera House.
Australia is such a beauty, but living in this country is costly. Actually, Australia is among the top 10 most expensive countries to live in. I am a Filipino migrant who moved to Australia with my wife and our 7-year-old daughter. With $1 equivalent to approximately 37 Philippine pesos, the cost of living here was something we really had to prepare for before we moved.
Enjoy ka ba? Ano pinaka nagustuhan mo sa
Everything.
Settling in for more than a year now, we were surprised. Some things turned out to be way more expensive than we imagined, and other things, surprisingly, were cheaper. In this video, I'll break down the real cost of living in Australia using averages from Numbeo and other sources. We'll look at the 4 big expenses that take up most of your budget: rent, utilities, groceries, and transport. Along the way, I'll share our family's experience and costs. Whether you're already living here or planning to move, this video will give you a clearer picture of what everyday life really costs in Australia. Let's dive in. Let's start with the biggest expense of all: rent and housing. Across Australia, median rent is around $644 to $665 per week. In Sydney, the average is higher, about $720 to $780 per week. For a 2-bedroom unit outside the city, that will cost you an average of $650 to $750 per week. After about 1 month in Sydney, we finally found our first rental, a 2-bedroom townhouse in the suburbs. Our rent was $640 per week, which is about $2,560 per month. What surprised us the most wasn't just the weekly rent, but the upfront costs. We had to pay a 2-week deposit plus a rental bond that is equivalent to another 4 weeks of rent. For new migrants, that's a big chunk of money to prepare before you even move in.
Welcome, Ree!
Fast forward to now, our rental cost has now been replaced with a mortgage, which actually takes an even bigger chunk of our budget. We bought when interest rates were still a bit high, and since then, we've experienced 2 rate cuts. We're grateful for these rate cuts because they've eased our monthly repayments, but the mortgage is still our biggest expense by far. Across Australia, the median house price is around $913,000. In Greater Sydney, the average is even higher. The median house price is around $1.53 million, while the median unit price is around $868,000. In the location where we bought our house, the prices are way below the Sydney average. Rent easily eats up 30 to 40% of income, especially in Sydney. For new migrants, house sharing or living further out can help cut costs. But for families, sometimes you just need the space, and you have to accept rent as your biggest expense.
So we just finished the Art Gallery of New South Wales, the South Building. The North, we didn't pass through that. Maybe that's for the next time. And then we're here at the letter B, or the bus stop. So this is the entrance. The plan is to go to Opera House and then go home via this pillar key.
Next up, utilities: electricity, gas, water, and internet. Electricity bills can average around $350 to $600 per quarter for a small family. Gas bills depend on usage, but the national average is around $221 per quarter. For water, that is $220 to $310 per quarter for a small family. Internet plans average around $85 per month, with Telstra often on the higher end. Before we moved into our rental house, we had to set up utilities ourselves. That meant applying for electricity, gas, and internet. We had to ask around about the leading suppliers in our suburb and compare their plans carefully. It's a bit of an admin, but it pays off to get the best value. When the first bill came, we definitely felt the bill shock. Electricity wasn't too bad, thanks to rebates and solar power support. But gas, which we use for cooking and heating water, was noticeably expensive. Our water bill is around the Australian average for our family size. And then there's the internet. We chose Telstra over Optus because the former has better network quality where we live. It's pricier, around $93 per month, but it's essential as we use the internet when we're working from home. Let's move on to groceries. A single person's monthly grocery bill averages around $500 to $800. For a family of 3 like ours, it's closer to $800 to $1,200 per month, depending on where and how you shop. Here are some everyday prices. Grocery shopping has become part of our weekly routine. We enjoy hunting for half-price deals, discovering new brands, and even comparing experiences in different supermarkets and suburbs. Some weeks we shop at Kohl's, other weeks at Woolworths, and sometimes we even check out Aldi for cheaper alternatives. If you haven't seen it yet, check out my separate video on grocery shopping tips where I share how to make the most of your money when shopping here in Australia. The trick with groceries is flexibility. Prices can vary week by week, and learning how to shop the specials can save you a lot over time. Finally, let's talk about transportation. In Sydney, a one-way public transport ticket costs about $4 to $6, but during peak hours and longer routes, it can go higher. A monthly public transport pass can average around $200 to $150, depending on your zone and frequency of travel. Petrol prices hover around $1.9 to $2.10 per liter. Car owners also need to budget for registration, insurance, tolls, and maintenance. Parking is mostly free for up to 3 hours in the malls, but charges begin at around $5. Back in Manila, we heavily relied on our car, but when we arrived in Sydney, we had to learn the public transportation system, trains, buses, and ferries. It was a big adjustment. My wife now takes the train to the CBD for work, and a single ride can cost her around $8 one way. That's already $16 a day, which adds up quickly over a month. As for me, I use the car to get to work and also to drop off and pick up our daughter from school. Having a car here is convenient, but definitely not cheap once you factor in the petrol, tolls, and parking fees. If you're moving to Australia, think about your family's lifestyle. If you live close to public transport, you can save a lot by not owning a car. But if you've got kids in school and work commitments in different areas, a car might be unavoidable. The key is to balance both and plan your routes, because transport is a major part of the cost of living here.
Sydney Gateway.
Living in Australia, especially Sydney, isn't cheap. But with preparation, planning, and smart choices, it's possible not just to survive but to live comfortably here. There are other costs that I did not talk about, like eating out in restaurants, mobile phone plans, school tuition fees, and others. Let me know if you want me to cover even more cost of living expenses in another video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more tips about living in Australia, and I'd love to hear your own experiences with the cost of living in the comments section. Thanks for watching. See you later. So that's it for now. Bye. Bye, Ree.
Bye.